Hey, this is Matthew from marketinginreallife.com. This is a continuation of the Google Analytics tutorial series where I show you how you can better read your Google Analytics so you can make better business decisions and be able to make more money. In this video, I want to show you quickly all about goals. And goals are a way that you can track certain things like newsletter signups or even purchases if it's not an e-commerce store, if it's more like an info product store, and things like that. So in here, I'm in my Google Analytics and I've logged in. Instead of clicking View Report, which we were looking at before, we go over here and click Edit. And once we go into that area, this is where we can set up everything for the website. And so in this case, mine is an e-commerce website, so I have e-commerce website turned to yes. I could change this by clicking Edit in here. And I told it that I want to receive AdSense data, that I want to display everything as US dollars, and I even told it to link to my AdWords account for when I was actually doing some Google AdWords with Mini Wargaming. And down here, you have your goals area. Now they recently changed this, which is nice, because before they limited you to only a few goals, and now they give you goal sets. And you basically get up to 20 goals, which should be more than enough for what you're doing. Because most likely one website is not going to have more than a few goals. It usually has one purpose. It's either an e-commerce website, in which case you need to set it up as an e-commerce website, which is different from this, or it's more like an info marketing website or a service website where the goal is very clear of where you want people to go. So basically, you must add goals. You have to do that. If there are no goals on your website, then that means that there's no purpose to your website. So when somebody comes to your website, what is it that you want them to do? In most cases, you're going to want them to sign up for a newsletter, or you're going to want them to make a purchase, or maybe a combination of the two. Maybe your site is a traditional info marketing website where it starts with a squeeze page and then goes to a sales page, in which case you'd have two goals. One is to get them to sign up from the squeeze page, and the second is for them to make a purchase on the sales page. And so you'd want two goals there. You'd want one for the squeeze and one for the sales page. And maybe you have an upsell as well, so maybe you could incorporate that into the goals. For an e-commerce site, you want to set this up as an e-commerce website, and then you have to actually change your e-commerce software to output the sales to Google Analytics. It's a bit more complex. Any good e-commerce software package, like we use Xcart, will automatically have it built in to do it for you. So all you have to do is turn it on and give it your account number, and it'll be able to do it from there. So you do want to make sure you do have that tracking, otherwise you're going to be guessing at so many things. Can you imagine if all I did is look at the amount of traffic I got and didn't look at what traffic was actually bringing me sales? I would just be guessing at to what is actually effective and what isn't. And so as an e-commerce site, you'd also want to set up what's called an e-commerce goal so that you can tell it all the different steps in your shopping cart so it can actually track where people are dropping out. But let's start with something simpler. Let's just look at a newsletter sign up. So I'll show you, I have the goal set up here. You can add goals by clicking Add Goal, very intuitive. And I'm just going to click Edit so you can see what I have set up for this one. In fact, I could even double check to make sure that it's showing up properly. So the first thing is the goal name, which is just for your reference, content, site, newsletter, sign up. You can make it an active goal or not an active goal. And you can choose where you want it to be. That's just for your reference again. And goal type, you can tell it that we want it to get to a certain page, like a thank you page. If somebody makes a purchase, they come to a download page, so that would be your goal. If they make it to that page, that means they made a purchase. Time on site, maybe your goal is for them to spend at least 5 minutes on the site. Or pages per visit, maybe that's your goal. That can be things that you work on, but right now we're going to focus on goals that have to do with a page that they get to. Then you have these different match types: head match, exact match, regular expression match, and you can look up in the help all the different means of those. Head match is the one I usually use, and then you tell it the URL that you want it to go to. Now normally you would just put, like let's say, the page I want them to go to. Let me just show you this actually. I'm going to open a new tab. Alright, so this is my site that I'm loading up. And then, let me just load up this page so you can see. There it is. That's a very complex page. Here's your download. Click here to download your free Warhammer Terrain ebook now. And then what it used to be, you don't see it right now unless I log out. So let me just see if I can pull up. Excuse me for a second while I look for an example. Here we are. Okay, so here's one of our content pages showing a video. And here is the awesome free terrain ebook newsletter sign up thing. Enter your name and email address, click instant download, and you get a copy of our Warhammer terrain ebook, and they come here. So obviously I want to track when people do this. So the easy way to do that is, let's see if I can, I move this down a bit, and you can see here's the URL that they're coming to. It's miniwargaming.com/terrain ebook. Now if you're not tracking subdomains, then all you would need was what is after your domain. And you just copy that, and that would be your URL. But since I use subdomains, if you'll recall, when you looked at the top content or the content of my site, I also have the www in front of it, all this. So I want to make sure that you basically want it to match what shows up in your analytics. So I copied all of that, and it goes in here, and this matches exactly what you'd see in your content section of your analytics. And you can make it case sensitive or not. You most likely don't want to. And then an optional is a goal value. So let's say that this was a thank you page for them purchasing a $19.95 ebook. Well, then the goal value would be $19.95. And then it'll actually be able to tell you things like the value of each visitor, the value of each click, all that kind of fun stuff. In this case, there's no goal value. And lastly, you can give it a goal funnel. This is optional as well. And basically the funnel is a series of pages they go through in order to get to the end page. Now this doesn't include necessarily the first page, because obviously this ad shows up on thousands of pages. So obviously I can't give it the first page. But there is an intermediate page I'll show you, because what I want them to do is confirm their email address. So this is an intermediate page. When they enter their name and email address here, they come to this page. Confirmation required. In order to receive your free Wargaming Terrain ebook, you'll need to confirm your email address. And it tells them how to do it. Of course, you want to give them detailed instructions. Really, I should add a little video here to show them how to click on it, because you'd be surprised how much that'll increase your conversion rates. And then once they go to their email and click on that, then they come to this page. So this is an intermediate page. And so I added that to the goal funnel. And that way I can still track how many people make it this far, but don't make it to this step. So then I can actually track my confirmation conversion rate, not just my conversion rate, which is nice. And if you check this required step thing, then if somebody makes it to this page without first going to this page, it doesn't count as a goal. And the reason that you would want that is, let's say that your goal page is a download page. But somebody could go back to the download page. They could go back to it over and over again. Or in this case, they might keep the email and click on that confirmation link again and go to the free download page. Well, if they do that, it's going to count as another goal. But by saying no, they first have to go to this page, to the confirmation page here, then somebody who just comes back to this or gets there by some other means, maybe you give out the link to somebody else, won't count as a goal and won't overinflate your analytics. So it's important to have this done correctly so that when you look at your numbers, you can trust them and you can know what they mean. So if I had several steps in here, like I'll show you a more complicated one. Let's go back to profile settings. Like the e-commerce sale, hopefully this won't overwhelm you. You'll see in this goal funnel. But I got 4 steps. So if I hit end here so you can see, there's the cart.php, which is the shopping cart. And then there's cart.php with this mode equals checkout, which I know is the sign-in page. And then there's this next page, which is the shipment and payment page. And then there's the confirmation page. And that's the payment page. And then here, that's the confirmation page. So I'll actually be able to see, let me show you what that looks like. We're just about out of time here. I'll actually be able to go to e-commerce, actually no, goals I believe it is. Yes, e-commerce sale. And then I can click on goal funnel. I know I'm going really fast here. This is just meant to show you the idea of this one. We'll look at e-commerce in another one. And you can actually see the funnel of people going through each of the steps and then making it out on the other side. So that's goals. And then when you're looking at these afterwards, you're able to see conversion rates. You're able to see 0.2% conversion rate, which sounds really low, but remember this shows up on every single page. 31% abandonment rate. So we're able to see that 412 made it to the confirmation page, but only 244 made it through. So I could work on getting this up so it's more than 59%. You're able to see all sorts of things. You can relate it to your traffic and all of the other things as well. So this is goals. Make sure you have them set up. Otherwise, you won't be able to do proper tracking because all you'll see is traffic. You will not see results. So this is Matthew from Marketing Real Life. Stay tuned for our next video, which will be even more about Google Analytics.